Hi, Sylvia.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Sylvia.
Looks like a fancy library. Like
Oh, yeah.
Like to see what books you got back there.
It's all the classics.
Hi, Fred.
Hello.
Could I have some ice water, please? Could you get me some ice water, please? Thank you.
Well, we'll let Michael get fully signed on here, or is he just by
Well,
phone
I'm
tonight?
trying here.
Yeah, no
Can you
worries,
hear me?
Michael. Oh, yeah,
Well,
we
I
can
got
hear
this
you.
email that said that I got 2 emails that said it was at the American Lake Conference Room.
Well, you know, maybe your old link, because it was probably a reoccurring one.
Well, I tried to get on and it said, you're not invited as a panelist, so it wouldn't let me access from the link that Nikki sent me. So I went to my icon and I got in that way. And now I'm just trying to find out how to get my picture on. Hold on. Not that anybody wants to see it, but
I want to see you.
yeah, right.
Oftentimes when it says Nikki has to promote you to be a panelist. Oh, there you go, Michael. Look at
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
we see
No,
you.
I'm so doggone
Wow.
I'm so clever, it's unbelievable.
Not bad, not bad.
Awesome. Well, 5:32, we'll call the meeting to order. And looks like we got a full house except for Susan. And with that being said, if everyone's taking a chance to read the minutes, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Okay, Vito.
Second.
Second from Alan. Any other discussion?
I just think I should
Oh.
mention, I think Susan chose not to reapply because of
Okay.
what was happening in her world. So I believe that applications have been submitted and the city council or the mayor is still reviewing them, but so she's not actually on the board right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Thanks for that update. And so we had Vito with first, Alan with a second. No other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, unanimous approval streak continues. Any public comment, Nikki?
No public comment received.
Thank you. And so we'll roll on to new business, and we got Sally here to give us an update on the public art policy and programming.
Hello, everyone. I see some new faces, but I speak with you once a year, so it's great to be back. Happy Thanksgiving. I've been with the city for years now, and I grew up in Lakewood, for those of you who I haven't met. So it was amazing to come back and work for the city in which I grew up, and I primarily focus on events, and I also staff the Arts Commission. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing now in the Arts Commission, and mostly our new public art program. So until last year, we were operating kind of on, when someone donates a piece of art or, something comes up, kind of, we were implementing art on a one-off basis. And there was not a solid plan for implementing it. There wasn't a solid vision for implementing it. Wasn't a solid budget. So the Arts Commission wanted to put all those things in a line and document it, kind of have this foundational document, which is called a public art program. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Am I good?
That looks good. That looks good.
All right, here we go. So why start a public art program? So like I mentioned, it provides a really cohesive and efficient process because you have all your ducks in a row. from funding to goals to themes of the type of art you want to implement. And the processes, the staffing, document you can use really is your roadmap. And secondly, it gives identity to the community. So a public art program, if it's done right, will tell the stories of the people in your community. It will talk about their diversity. It will tell the stories of their heritage and their culture. And it'll bring those stories to life. And in so doing, it creates a collective memory, but in the form of art. So it also increases economic impact. There's been a lot of studies where people will come to an area and they'll spend more when they're coming to see art than your average tourist. It also beautifies, well, and in terms of economic impact, it makes it a more beautiful place to live and work. It's more appealing to people who are moving to the area. And then it beautifies Lakewood, making it a pleasant place to, be more inclined to walk outdoors maybe and interact with the art. So here's just a little bit of research on the fact that public art programs do attract tourists. Of the 92 million cultural travelers last year, 65% of the tourists who traveled outside 50 miles, which 50 miles is kind of that golden distance for the lodging tax grant. They say, you want to draw people who are from outside the 50-mile radius. So of course, in terms of events and art, that's what we're looking at doing. But 65% who traveled outside the 50-mile radius were going specifically to look at art and cultural sites, heritage, and those are the ones who spend more money in the area in which they visit. So how could art possibly bring tourists to Lakewood? Well, something as simple as this idea of the Chicago Cows on Parade just took off. They get 2 million visitors in 3 months and they spend $500 million. You saw something similar with the Pike Place Market and the pigs. So this isn't an overly complex idea. It's something that we definitely could do in this area. We don't have it as a plan right now, but it's a small example of how one idea can really grow. And now most cities across the United States do it. It's not just limited to Chicago. So we held a public art charrette. And that is, we got a group of people together that we felt were a nice representation of the microcosm of Lakewood. Business owners, people in nonprofit agencies, people of different cultures. And we had them come together here and kind of do a big brainstorming. And we had artists leading the process to set some goals for what we think the community wants. And these are the goals that came up. So connecting communities. So for example, art along art pathways that might be, for instance, the pathway that's going to be from Tillicum to Gravely Lake. The idea of having art along there that people could walk and see it, and as they're getting to the next place. And then we knew we wanted accessible art, art that people feel like is in their grasp, even if they aren't, art collectors, that they can still, for instance, this child just come by and play the music, but it's art, it's interactive and accessible. It would reflect the diversity of our community in an ideal world, and tell people stories like I was talking about, create these collective memories. And then it would beautify existing structures. So finding ways that are relatively low cost using art to beautify eyesores. And then the idea of attracting visitors, perhaps with something like rotating art, where the art's on loan, you don't have to put a lot out front, but it's constantly changing. And this has been very successful. The Arts Commission did a tremendous amount of research on what other cities are doing. So Olympia is doing a really good job with this. And then being cost effective was something we really wanted to do, because we really want to get started and really hit the ground running, get some things out there. We found out that if you start putting art out in communities that haven't had it before, kind of at the grassroots level, people are much more inclined. It intrigues their interest. they're like, hey, that's really cool. I would love to see more of that. And they feel more part of the process as well. So what were the first steps to develop this public art program? Well, we had to put together a funding plan. So this was a short and long-term funding plan from 1 to 6 years is what we did. And an art integration framework plan. That's a lot like, it's a document that you work with a professional on that has all your processes and policies and guidelines, themes, and so on. So the priorities that came up were, because these are very cost effective, our wraps were signal boxes. It's low cost. We knew we could get started with those. I know everyone's seen those around. And then second was murals. That was the second priority. So these are our top priorities in order, because it's similar, but also you can engage young people. It beautifies the area and it's low cost and a fast turnaround. And then third was rotating art, this idea of bringing in art that can be switched out. Then interactive art, so it's very accessible and it's functional. So you can use it, you can sit on it, you can explore it. And lastly, the large scale iconic art. And that's simply just because it's so expensive. So let's talk about the art wraps. As you can see, this is one that covered up graffiti. So it's known to do that. It's very effective in doing that. It's vibrant, super easy to implement. It beautifies existing structures. This, I believe, is integrated into the Warts Lake plan. And the caveat to all of this is this has been noted as being an important part of the Lakewood legacy plan. So this is all in line with the legacy plan. And so the other thing the wraps do is you engage local artists. So that's big for the artists in your area to see their work. And then other people see it and are like, wow, maybe I could do that. The murals also deter graffiti. They're low cost and they engage your very diverse community and tell stories. This is an example of the Tree of Life. It's 3D and it reflects different cultures. So you can see kind of each leaf tells a story to represent the diversity of the area, people in the area. This one I love because I just envision it, you know, on the barns out at Fort Silicon Park, but it's a mural that just tells the history of a place. And there's a local program through Seattle that engages youth. And that was something that the Arts Commission felt really strongly about is we want to hear from our youth. We want them to create and we want to highlight their creations. And there's so few opportunities for that. The concept of the rotating art, these are some examples, is it would rotate maybe every year or two. It's on loan, but the artist can have it for sale while it's up. So it's kind of like a great way to advertise their art, let people see it. You can also have like a fan favorite where you have an event and then people vote on their favorite piece and that piece the city buys and keeps. And you can also put it, you know, this is an example of what it might look like on the trail at Lake Waha or at the Colonial Plaza. And then you develop an interactive map on your website, on the city website. So when tourists come, they can see where it is and they can drill down and go, oh, okay, that's, you know, Jerry Newcomb did that art and this is the symbolism. And so it's a fun way for people to explore the city. This is another example of interactive art where kids are really engaging and playing. And you can see it's accessible. People aren't scared of it. They aren't resentful of it, because if you do spend a lot of money on a piece of art that you can't engage with in a community that has a lot of low and very low income people, it can cause resentment. Why aren't you spending that on, you know, helping me buy food and housing? So this way it really brings it home where they can touch it and enjoy it. And then brings us to the last of the priorities, which is iconic sculptures. So again, the Love Lakewood, I believe, was part of the Wards Lake master plan. But they tend to be monolithic. They're landmark style works. You can maybe see them from the freeway. This is the idea of Love Lakewood. It attracts visitors. It can catch their attention. And then it can highlight a specific area, like the Colonial Plaza, which we'll talk about. All right. So Sound Transit's been a leader in iconic art. They are implementing a piece. I think they just implemented a piece. They spend about $150,000 on their pieces. That's a good number for, you know, one great big piece of art, about $150,000. But they recruit the artists nationally and internationally. And then they select a panel of like 5 people to help vote on which art piece will be implemented. So how do you fund an art program? So there's some different ways, and these are the different ways. You can do $1 per capita in terms of how you figure out the overall amount, not necessarily putting out a bond or anything, but just, okay, we've got 65,000 people, it's $1 per capita, and we'll do $65,000 a year for 6 years or so on. Or $2 per capita, or 1% of capital projects. But that's an older model. Maybe 5 years ago that was popular, but people are really moving to the $1 per capita model because it gives them more freedom and flexibility, as opposed to having it tied to a capital project. And then of course, with grants and partners and donations. And then for those who do donate, you know, the recognition can be on the art itself. It can be in things that are embedded in the art. So this, I think we drill down on this. And yeah, if we zoom in here, you can see the flowers actually have the names of the people that donated. And this is another beautiful way where it's on inlaid leaves on a pathway. This is on a wall. So there's many ways to recognize our donors. So where are we now? So fast forward, that was presented to City Council. They adopted the program, the public art program. It is this framework for moving forward short and long term, 1 to 6 years. And we've kicked it off with the signal box route. So we're really excited. I'm going to go through and show you. Some of you may have seen some out there already, but this is called Steel Across. And I'm going to show you some pictures of how it translated then to the signal box. And so you can see how it was wrapped. That's on the corner of Steilacoom Boulevard and Lakewood Drive. This is called Leap of Faith. These are all local artists. And it turned out, this was when I saw it as art, I couldn't envision it on a signal box. And I think it looks actually better on the signal box. It's on 84th and South Tacoma Way. It's one of my favorites. It's really vibrant. It kind of looks like a koi pond. But this is by Rosa Cruz and it's called Tribal Quilt. And it's in Springbrook. So our priority was to first kind of beautify our lower income areas. So this was the first one to go up. This is called Colorful Rocks, also by Rosa Cruz. And it's at Bridgeport and 108. And we're in the process by December, these will be going up. And this is called Mount Rainier. And you can see on the right how it's not up yet, but that's how it will look on the right. We have a famous artist in Lakewood, Susan Russell Hall. Some of you may know that name. And we're so fortunate. She said we could use any of her art. And this is called Luminous Horizons. And this is how it translates to the box. And that's going to go on Gravelly Lake and Waldare, so it'll be by the library. This is called Green Heron. It'll also be going up. And this one is called the Lakewood Cabinet of Curiosities. And I don't have the printout in front of me, but it goes into great detail what the symbolism of each of the things in the box and the history of Lakewood and the maples and the maple oak trees. Sorry, it's wonderful, and that's an example of, you know, we can put these all up on the website so then people can drill down and read about them. And that'll go on Far West and Steilacoom Boulevard. It's a place where you kind of can stop for a while at the crosswalk and take a closer look. And then we also had a mural completed, thanks to LMCC and a couple of our sponsors. We collaborated, and the students at Clover Park worked with Urban Artworks out of Seattle, and they brought an artist down, and the artists are trained to work with you to teach them what a mural is, how to produce a mural, come up with a theme, and then create it. And it's called The World Lives in Lakewood. That now is going to be the theme of our MLK ceremony in January. But as you can see, it truly is reflective of the diversity in our community. It's exactly what the Arts Commission wanted to see in these murals. This is a picture at the 25th anniversary celebration at Colonial Plaza. So they put it on canvas so that they can move it around. There's a permanent piece at Clover Park, but then they put it on canvas to move it around. Okay, now we're going to get into our iconic piece, which is the Colonial Plaza art. We have chosen an artist. The Arts Commission has chosen an artist. The City Council has concurred, and it's John Fleming, and it's called Gateway Arts. And it's going to go right at the entrance of Gravelly Lake and Motor Ave to kind of greet people as they come in. There'll be one on each side. As he says, they're two arcing shapes like bookends that guide people into Colonial Plaza. So they have mosaic patterns that are cut into steel, mild steel, and they have this graceful curve to them, and they'll be self-supporting. So our money went so much further with this artist because so much money is put into the foundation of these pieces. But it was brilliant how he designed it not to need a foundation. So you can see that the design of the lakes of Lakewood are etched into the design. And it harkens back that overall kind of pattern to Mr. Fleming's early design days using raku ceramic work. There's going to be a big community engagement piece, which is so important at this stage in our art program when it's so new, to involve the community so they can really feel like they were part of it. So in February, he'll have a community engagement piece where people, students, well, people of all ages write stories. He's got a whole plan for it, but they essentially write their stories in these little etched stainless steel plates that then are hung inside the cutout triangles that you see. And here you can see that they're lit, that they kind of dangle. And he has this clever way of using reflective strips for the lighting. So it provides a lot of light. You can see the hanging piece that has no lighting. It's just all reflective strips. So when the car lights hit it, it lights up, or if any other light hits it, it lights up. And then the other piece is the backlighting. It's set against the park, and there's these beautiful oaks. And so there's been talk about uplighting those oaks to highlight them as well, and make that kind of all a very artistic area. that concludes the presentation. Thank you. We're so excited to be able to implement this art in the city. Do you have any questions?
I have a
Sally-
quick one. Oh, sorry, Leo, go ahead.
Just a quick question. Sally, how long do you think those wraps are going to last? Are they 5, 10 year?
They are, oh gosh. They're about 10 years.
Oh, that's great. That's really good. Yeah, that's good. I think they add so much. They're so simple, but they add so much. Nice.
Have you
nice
seen
work.
any?
Yeah, I have. Well, I saw a number of them in Tacoma have put them up on their signal boxes. Yeah, very good.
I just want to say I was in Chicago when they were doing the cow thing, and there was a frenzy all over for people going like with passports to find all the cows, and it really does work as a tourist attractor. Now, it's a huge city, and it was a big project. But we could do pigs or goats. Scale it down.
So Sally, this is Michael. Is the city running this, or is the Lakewood Arts Commission involved? What's the relationship there?
So the Lakewood Arts Commission is part of, we're as a commission of the city. Their members come and they serve the city to, with the goal of bringing art to the area, art in all its forms, performing arts, physical art, literature, whatever it is, and to expose the community to that. So to that end, they meet monthly, and this developing an art program was something that they felt was really important, like I said, because our program is young compared to like the city of Tacoma, and we just felt like we needed more of a framework in which to operate. So we're being proactive and not reactionary to the art that came to us, but really able to go out, have a short and long-term plan, and make strides each year towards those goals.
So Michael, the city funds most of the projects, as well as Sally's amazing at getting partnerships and sponsors. And then what the city council did was, we have the McGavick Center. And so one of the things that when they were determining the McGavick Center days, some people call it the free days, but it costs $1,500. Every time a community group would use the McGavick Center, they would, the city would charge them a fee of $1,500, and that would go into a public art fund. So we would get, a little bit of money every year to do projects, little projects, big projects, and it would gather and grow. But then when we do special projects, they would then determine, just like other kinds of city expenditures, if they're going to fund it, they would put additional resources into that fund.
I was just curious because this last slide says Lakewood Arts Commission on the bottom, and I just didn't hear a lot of them mentioned during the presentation, which is fine. That's just curious.
They are like you're a parks board, they're the arts commission. So they're similar. The city has 10 different advisory boards, and Sally manages that group quite well, I would say. And that's their goal.
I realize that.
So my quick question is just, are we funding it at the $1 level, at the $2 level? What level are we funding the Arts Commission currently?
Mary, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. So the Arts Commission had a whopping $2,000 a year budget on top of whatever was in the Public Art Fund, which was somewhere around $20,000 a year. So we haven't fully funded it in the dollar per capita. That was the concept that was recommended and that the council reviewed. Our goal, this sort of kicked off, wasn't it just before COVID, Sally? I think it was, we were all ready to go at the end of the year, and then everything sort of changed. So we sort of took a back seat because we didn't know what the outcome was going to be for revenues and expenditures. So we kind of waited. And then but we were able to find some resources to do the covers. So the idea is to do $1 per capita, and we have a 6-year plan on how to invest those resources, with the idea of it starting full on in 2023. Although Sally has quite a few exciting things, and she'll be back at a future meeting to talk about special events and programs and some of the special things that she has coming up in the new year. So those things are still happening and kind of being introduced. So but we don't have the full-on $1 per capita yet, but our goal is to see that as part of the 2023 and beyond budget.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I know it usually competes for dollars, and I just curious what level we were doing it, funding it right now. So thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Sally? Seeing none, great
Looks
job,
like-
Sally. Thanks for.
Sylvia has
Thank
her-
you. Thanks for having me.
Jason, I think Sylvia has her hand up.
Oh, did you? Oh, wait, hold on, Sally. Sylvia has her hand up.
Well, I just wanted to say that, I was responsible for the 1% for Art program in the city that I was working for in Renton. And we funded some things that 2 or 3 years later, nobody even knew was there. And these are really nice projects because they are really well seen in the community and they're going to last for a long time. And I am greatly in favor of them. I think they add a lot to the community. People drive by and they see them and they enjoy them. So I think this is a wonderful program and I strongly support it.
Thank you. Thank you. The whole process, everyone involved really was very, very diligent, especially, with that charrette, making sure that what we implemented is what the community wanted and that it represented our community. So thank you for saying that.
And Sally, before you go, I just want to honor you. Sally has been such an amazing part of our community. And when she joined our team, she has brought so much new ideas, thoughtful ways of having, getting sponsors and partners so that we can have low to no cost events and activities. And as you've seen the farmers market grow and Summerfest grow and all the other exciting things that are coming up. A lot of it has to do with her vision and her research and then finding the right people to help make it happen. And so we're really, really lucky to have Sally in our community and definitely on our team for sure. So
Awesome.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I love my job. Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
Same to you. Okay, and now we roll on to the 2022 work plan, which was provided in our attachments. Seb,
Nikki, did you want to pull that up and we can kind of walk through that, or did you want me to pull that up?
Yeah, I'm having trouble pulling it up, so if you want to
Okay.
pull it up.
Let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna look for it here for you folks. Just a second. Just about there. I was just looking at it too, so. Okay, one moment. Now I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see my screen that says the work program?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do my fancy thing here with the mouse. Hopefully that works. You can see it. Can you see my mouse?
Yep.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna scroll. So our annual work program, just to remind you, when we have our joint meeting, we chat with council and talk about our accomplishments for the past year and kind of what we're working on. But they approve our work program in late January. So that they can make sure that their board, which you are a board and commission working on behalf of the council, is doing the things that they want you to do. Topic, covering the topic. Sometimes they'll drop something in mid-year if something pops up. But anyway, so this first portion is just the ordinance that talks about who you are and what you do. So what I wanted to do is just cover the work plan topics that we thought were either things that we didn't cover this year that we were hoping to, or things that were coming up. So the main items on the work program are, one is Fort Silicon boundary line adjustment. As you know, we have had our property since June of 2019. Pierce College still doesn't have their property purchased or transferred, or they don't legally own their property. And then once they do, we need to move the lines around a little bit, because what you think is totally Fort Silicon Park isn't. Some areas are Pierce Colleges and will stay Pierce Colleges, but we just need to refine the boundary line adjustment. So we're still waiting on that. But they have to do their job first. We're just waiting for that to happen, but we'll keep you in the loop and give you a chance to review what we're considering. The second one is we'll do a park CIP update as we do every year. We've got lots and lots and lots of projects coming, and so you'll have a chance to review. We've got master plans that have been approved, so now we're going to be looking at phase 1 or site plans for construction, where we take that master plan, which is a picture of great ideas, and put it into what we're going to actually construct. So we're going to be doing that on several projects this year. We'll give you a massive update on that. And we may drop those in along the way as we need to get those things reviewed, but we'll be doing a comprehensive parks capital improvement program later this year. We're excited about our DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have a new staff person within the city, and that's a big goal for our city internally to kind of get our hands around there. And then of course, all the work we're doing in our community. And regarding inclusion, one of the projects that we're starting is we'll be working with all the agencies in Pierce County, primarily Pierce County Parks and Metro Parks, to do a specialized recreation program. We're all supporting it. And so we'll include that probably in that conversation. We're going to be doing a lot of outdoor adventure programming this summer. We're excited. We've had several grants, and I've always wanted to really highlight the outdoors in Lakewood, the lake and the woods of Lakewood. And so we've got some special resources to help us really expand that outdoor adventure programming to introduce the outdoors to folks that might not have had a chance. You live in this beautiful community, but you might not know much about it. So we want to give people chances to see their community. We'll do a special event update. Sally will come back and share all the amazing things she's got going on. Street ends are coming back. I know many of you have been with me here for many, many years. This is the year we get to come back and talk about it again. So don't leave me, please. It's a topic that, our report is like 12 years old. So it's time to come back and really take a look at it. How are things changed? So what we'll do is probably at a future meeting, talk about what we want to do, how we want to address it, what the city council's goals are for that. But it's time to bring that baby back to the front of the line. So, and those of you that haven't been on the Parks Board for 15 years, it'll be fun. Trust me. The next one is any park code updates. Right now, we don't have anything on the books, but that we always take a look at that, and that might come up as needed. The city's doing some really cool things with their tree preservation ordinance. They're looking at climate change, and we had kind of an interesting presentation from Dave Buer several months ago. We wanted to bring it back onto our calendar. Well, since that time, they've been doing a lot of work on a tree preservation ordinance. They're going to have a special, I think, a tree preservation ad hoc committee. There may be, the request to have a Parks and Rec advisory board liaison to that. More to come on that, but that's just happening right now. It's going to be an interesting topic, and we'll want to bring that to you for review or understanding or participation. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet, and then the naming policy and process, we actually went through a process. We did a little, a check at our last meeting about what we thought about the process and how it worked. And so we'll be bringing forward some maybe changes to the review process, or just updating that document that we utilized for the process. We'll be doing that in January, and then forwarding that to City Council. There were some things that they had suggested. There were also some things that you suggested, some clarifications. And so we'll update that document, make sure everybody's on the same page, and then we'll send that forward to Council for review. So those are sort of our work plan. We've divided those topics throughout the year. We, of course, are hoping to stay right on schedule with all these things, but sometimes things get turned around or switched around, or something comes forward because it's more timely, or something might not be exactly ready. But we've kind of tried to put it through throughout the year. And so we will do our best to stay on track. And then the final part is just putting those special events on the calendar. We like to track those things so that you know what we're working on. What I don't see on here is the film festival. The city is embarking on this cool real life, real as in REAL or REEL, real life So we're gonna add that. That's gonna be in January is the kind of, it'll be like in 36 hours, you'll take you'll pick out a theme on a Friday night, and in 96 hours you deliver your film. So it's really gonna be a cool thing with I think it's due on February 14th, and then we'll do a screening. So there'll be more information on that coming forth. But that's another event that the Arts Commission is leading the charge on, and they've gotten a couple of grants and a big sponsorship to help them with that. So that's going to be cool. So we'll add that to this when we send it forward to council. So is there any questions about some of the topics? Are there any topics that we haven't included that you would like to have us either ask council if they can be on our agenda, or if there's something that I totally forgot? What are your thoughts?
I think it looks good to me, Mary. I saw Dave Brewer as I was dropping my ballot off in the box, and he was telling me a little bit about the tree preservation ordinance. So I'm excited to hear about that. But looks like a full plan, and know you'll get some added through the year that you're not expecting now.
Does anybody else have any feedback on this?
Oh, Mary?
Yeah.
I think the film festival screening date is March 19th.
March 19th. Thank you very much. We'll add that before we go. Don't let me forget, Nikki. Any other thoughts?
All right, great job, Mary. You wowed them. We got a director's report coming next. Sounds like.
We do. Okay, I guess I'm going to share my screen again. Director's report. And we'll send this out to you because it didn't go out with the packet. And we'll send this out so that you have it and you can read it in more detail. And but just, you know, we kind of are getting towards the end of the year with our capital projects update. The one thing I want to give you a heads up on is that the bridge, I think it was installed the day of our last meeting, right? We were able to kind of show a picture of it. But the bridge should be done. They're going to be doing a planting on a community planting on, oh, what day are they doing that? I think it's on December 11th. They're going to be plant a tree with Santa. That'll be advertised. But anyway, on December 18th, we're going to do a dedication, and it's going to be very limited in size based on the area that we have out there, and it's COVID, but you as a park board will be invited. And so it'll be on December 18th, which is a Saturday. It'll be at 11 o'clock. What we're going to do is have all of our Lakewood folks meet at the end of the Phillips Road trailhead, and then we'll parade down to the bridge from our Lakewood side, and then the University Place and Pierce County folks will come from the Kobayashi side. So it'll be kind of a meeting at the bridge. We'll do a ribbon cutting. So we'll send you an invitation. I'll send that out tomorrow. And anyway, if you can come, great, RSVP. If you can't, we're also going to live stream it. So if you decided it's pouring down rain, or it's really cold, or you can't find your rubber boots because it's probably going to be muddy, you can watch it from the warmth of your home. And then once it will be live streamed, and then we'll actually have a link that we'll send out afterwards too. So PCTV is going to be doing the filming of it. So that's cool. Anyway, so that's coming up, and we'll, like I said, we'll send you an invitation on that. The other exciting news is that the courts are done. They've been using the Lakewood Community Center since March, or actually, I think they might have gone in a couple months later when everything shut down. We weren't able to use the center for our senior activities, and so they commandeered it, I would say, and turned it into courthouses, the whole building. And so they're done now. They're moving out. You know, it's an old building, and there were a lot of issues before we moved out, and they're still there. So we're asking for them to sort of take this time to patch things and seal things and fix things and find our stuff that they've stashed in a zillion different spaces. And so anyway, we hope to be back up and going in early January. And I know our older adults are really looking forward to getting back in their space, and our staff is really looking forward to, you know, continuing that great work that they do. I do have to say that we haven't had our senior ambassadors. Those were our front desk counters and a lot of our volunteers for over 2 years, and many of them are no longer available to work with us because of one reason or another. So we are going to be doing kind of an outreach for the community for new volunteers to help us. You know, we have a pretty small lean team there, so we do count on volunteers to manage the library and answer phones and help with special events and activities. So if you know of folks in the community that have some free time that might want to volunteer, we'd love to learn more about you know, what they're interested in doing and see how they might work with us on that. So that's great. Sally gave you some information on public art, so I kind of shared that here, but you saw that. And the pictures that she showed didn't really do it justice. It's really going to be kind of a cool thing there. And I think the interactive part with the community being able to have a story to tell on that artwork. And then again, it's not going to be artwork that you have to climb over a fence to touch and feel and see. It'll be something that you can really experience. So that's cool. And then we've recently received a lot. We got several lodging tax grants. Amazon's in town. They called us up and said, hey, we have $10,000. We don't know what to do with it. Can we give it to you? Of course, we said yes. And then Virginia Mason, which is Franciscan Health, which used to be St. Clair. You know, it's had a million names. But anyway, they have been a great sponsor for the city for many, many years and lots of our activities. And they're back helping us do the great things that we do. So you can see they've committed to $17,500 for next year. So we're doing okay with being able to continue the great work that we're doing without really impacting our general fund. And then just lots and lots of stuff happening, working with the community. We've really been doing a lot of work on our outdoor adventure program for this summer. We're finding new partners. Alan, I think we're going to be working with the Northwest Youth Corps for the summer. And so we'll have a local Lakewood team. So love to partner with you on the wildlife part or the wildlife area that might be able to bring some additional resources to your program. So, and then one of the other things is instead of just having it be a week all summer long of, you know, building trails and pulling Scotch broom and mending fences and things, is that we're going to pull a community service element into it, where we'll work with, you know, EFN at the food bank and Diane Formoso with Caring for Kids and some of our other nonprofits in the community that might need a couple extra hands this summer. So we're really going to have it be one of those learning experiences, leadership experience, and then, you know, also digging a hole. There's nothing wrong with digging a hole. So, so anyway, so that's kind of, we'll be working on that. So we're really already planning for our summer, which all you Parks and Rec people know you're doing now, because that's what we do. So anyway, that is my work program. You can see we're coming to an end. And then just to remind you, we'll be doing our virtual tree lighting on December 6th in conjunction with our council meeting. And then our drive-through holiday parade is going to be at Fort Silicon Park on December 11th. So you can put on your holiday tunes and drive through. And as opposed to, it's a reverse parade like we did last year, except for we did it here at the town center, and the transportation was really a bit of a cluster. So we're going to move our displays and our community groups, bring the floats to the park and let the people drive through versus having the floats drive through. So anyway, that's pretty much my report, and just looking forward to seeing you all in 2022. Any questions?
Thanks for another great year, Mary. Pulled off a lot of amazing work. We appreciate it.
One of the things I'm going to send out with this report is, it's not really listed on here, but I had to put a little list of things that we've accomplished for the year. Primarily, it was being created to for City Council to consider including in the connections. They're going to do a council corner where they're talking about some of the big things that they did. So I started making this list, and it's just going page after page after page. I mean, these are just the big things, not even the everyday things we do. So I'm going to send that off to you just so you can see that you're getting your money's worth. And you've got a great group of people working for you in the city of Lakewood. They really care about their work, and they do a great job. And so there's that. Okay, that's my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. Great work. Any board member comments?
Not here.
Mary, is Cameron working with the Northwest Youth Corps? Is he the one that's going to be the point person for that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And thank you for meeting with him and giving him some information, helping him kind of find the way.
Yeah, it's time to get it planned, so we need to get our schedule working together. So I'll contact you.
Yeah.
Mary, I want to tell you that the people who are working with the community garden have been so pleased with the support they've gotten from the city. and the city employees. They are just tickled to death that they've gotten the support they needed in order to do what they needed to do. And thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. I'll pass that on to those folks.
Yes, please do.
Any other comments? I'll just wish you all happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving and holiday season, and we will see you guys on January 25th. Oh, what do you got, Mary?
I just had one more thing. So this is Native American Month, and so we did a proclamation for our partners, the Nisqually tribe. And as you know, we all sit on Nisqually land here, and they were amazing stewards. So on Monday night is a fifth Monday, so normally we don't have a council meeting, but we're going to be doing a joint meeting with City Council and the Nisqually Tribal Council. And so we're going to talk about, you know, the naming of Fort Slocum Park. That was a big deal to them. I'm going to do a presentation on 4 different projects that we're working on. We hope to move forward with just really honoring them, acknowledging their tribe, and then also just helping the community learn more about them. So I'm excited about that. So it'll be on a YouTube. So you're welcome to join in if you just want to learn a little bit more about the Nisqually tribe and what we're doing. But we certainly want to honor our friends, the Nisqually tribe, for you know, taking good care of this land so that we have these great places to play.
And that starts at 7, Mary?
I think it might be at 6. So it'll
6?
be on
Okay.
the website
Okay,
under public meetings. So
perfect. Got it. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Sylvia
so
with the
moved.
first
I'll second.
and Michael with the second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Happy holidays.
All right.
Yep. Happy holidays, y'all.
holidays.
Thank
Eat
you.
some turkey.
we'll see you in January 2022.